and this military, based on, well, I may have a little more logic than you do, but we do.
Mark Milley said white rage. He complained about January 6th was an insurrection, this, that, or the other.
White rage, and so that's why he was fired, because
you were holding
well, then that's not a smart thing to do to trust the Pentagon, because this is what happens when you put a TV talking head in charge of the most powerful military in the world that was put there by Cadet
Tiffany, let me ask you, if you knew they had drugs, if you knew they had drugs,
what I just heard Effie say was not criticism. She was introducing facts, something that you all seem to be allergic to.
No.
You just said it's okay to just murder people. If we
yes, I want to murder people who want to murder us. Absolutely.
That is ridiculous.
But
that
Tiffany, if they've been deemed drugs,
why not? Those drugs are going to kill people.
They don't deserve to get killed.
Those drugs are going to kill. Of course, those drugs would come into our country and kill people.
Hold on a second.
We are not judge, jury, and executioner
yes,
in
we
this
are.
country.
If you're going to come and execute our people,
that's exactly how it happens.
Every documentary we're using that as evidence, not the intelligence that we're getting from the intelligence community.
This is how autocracy thrives. But hold on, a week from now, I hope this clip ages well, and you can look back at it, and you can look back at it, and look yourselves in the mirror and be okay.
All right, we're gonna leave it there for just a second.
Hello, everybody. Guys, we got the MAGA CEO, Mr. Fishass, and Kingpin. I don't know why these idiots try to get into it with Tiffany. It never, ever works out well for them. Let's get into this segment, and we'll talk about it.
Tonight, the Pentagon is preparing America for battle. Pete Hegseth says the Defense Department is changing how it buys military weapons, and the faster the agency can get it done, the better.
We're not just buying something. We are solving life and death problems for our warfighters. We're not building for peacetime. We are pivoting the Pentagon and our industrial base to a wartime footing. Building for victory should our adversaries FAFO.
At the same time, the New York Times reports that Hegseth has now fired or sidelined at least 24 top military brass over the last 9 months. Both of these things are happening at the same time at an aggressive pace. And when I look at the military firings that have happened, a lot of them seem to be related to the fact that maybe this person worked for Mark Milley, not the fact that they have the skills, that they have the experience, that they have the expertise to do their jobs. And for a kind of, anti sort of woke meritocracy that this is supposed to be, that seems to be quite the opposite.
Well, Abby, I don't know that we have all the information to decide exactly what happened with these firings. Two things can be true. You work for Mark Milley, and you also happen to not have the credentials to align with this particular policy of the Department of War. Let's zoom out for a little bit. What the Secretary of War and President Trump have done is taken direct attacks to these drug traffickers that are trying to bring poison into our country. Every single day, 200 people die of an overdose. And for once, our president cares enough to take these people out and actually create shock and awe deterrence that says we're not going to let people on the streets of Philadelphia and Kensington, in my home state of Florida, die of this poison.
So you actually believe that? 80% of fentanyl comes across the border from American citizens. So these random killings and target practice in the Caribbean that he's doing is not doing anything.
When you say they're random, do you think they're fishermen or?
We don't know. There have been reported evidence that he has killed people who we don't know the details about why they were killed. People have said these are just civilians, and that is also why
they were civilian drug traffickers. That's right.
But you don't have any proof of that.
I
there
trust
was no
the
process
Pentagon's
of that.
judgment
Well, then that's
their
not a smart thing to do to trust the Pentagon, because this is what happens when you put a TV talking head in charge of the most powerful military in the world that was put there by Cadet
Tiffany, let me ask you: if you knew they had drugs, if you knew they had drugs, would you bomb them? Yes or no? If you knew they had drugs, why not? Those drugs are going to kill people.
They don't deserve to get
those
killed.
drugs are going to kill. Of course, those drugs would come into our country and kill people.
Hold on a second.
We are not judge, jury, and executioner
yes,
in
we
this
are.
country.
If you're going to come and execute our people, we're going to blow you to smithereens.
I would like to make my
Hold on a second.
This is a problem.
One at a time,
he is firing people over their political loyalty.
We don't know
and
that,
this military, based on, well, I may have a little more logic than you do, but we do.
Mark Milley said white rage. He complained about January 6th was an insurrection, this, that, or the other.
White rage, and so that's why he was fired, because
if you are holding toxic ideology that is divisive to the United States military, you should get out of the Pentagon.
As somebody who's actually worked at the Pentagon, as somebody who's actually worked.
So he's such an idiot. He just agreed with her at the end. Well, if you have this toxic ideology by calling out white rage, which this is amazing, and calling January 6th an insurrection, which Scott Jennings, the most loyal baby mama Trump has, said it was an insurrection incited by Trump. That's before he realized he had to sit on daddy's lap again when Trump won the election. And I actually think that's the big issue we have right now, domestically, socially. Mark Milley, guys, top general in the military, big dog status. Actually, let me show you this in his own words. I have a little bit to say about this.
It is important that we train and we understand, and I want to understand white rage, and I'm white, and I want to understand it. So what is it that caused thousands of people to assault this building and try to overturn the Constitution of the United States of America? What caused that? I want to find that out. I want to maintain an open mind here, and I do want to analyze it. It's important that we understand that because our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians, they come from the American people. So it is important that the leaders, now and in the future, do understand it. I've read Mao Zedong. I've read Karl Marx. I've read Lenin. That doesn't make me a communist. So what is wrong with understanding, having some situational understanding about the country for which we are here to defend? And I personally find it offensive that we are accusing the United States military, our general officers, our commissioned, non-commissioned officers, of being, quote, woke or something else because we're studying some theories that are out there. That was started at Harvard Law School years ago.
So, guys, that was in 2021, after the January 6th Republicans' attempt to overthrow the government. And, guys, understand that Christopher Wray, head of the FBI before that weirdo Kash Patel took over, said that the #1 domestic threat to the U.S. is white nationalism. And these people can keep ignoring it. And since then, we've had these idiots doing Nazi salutes out in the open, defending it. Even pundits on TV defending it. Leaked group messages of saying that they love Hitler. These Republicans loving Hitler and wanting gas chambers. The Vice President of the United States, eyeliner J.D. Vance, defending those guys. I mean, countless amount of vile things coming from Republicans. And now they're having a civil war amongst them, where one side you have essentially the Nazis, you know, the Jews will not replace us type of people, the Nick Fuentes, the Tucker Carlson, the Candace Owens types. And on the other side, this is just amazing, you got the, hey, can we be racist and bigoted towards literally every single group? Just leave out the Jews, please. Which we got Laura Loomer, Ben Shapiro, and those establishment Republican types, Randy Fine. And guess who's winning right now? What a surprise, the Nazis. Because guess what? When you peddle this enough, these people start to ask themselves, wait a second, wait a second, shouldn't we be going after the Jews as well? Yeah, no shit, they're going to think that. But hey, white rage, like CEO Mr. Fish has said there, what white rage? What are you talking about? And listen, guys, it triggers Republicans or conservatives because they know it's true. They just can't publicly say it, obviously. But hey, Nick Fuentes is opening that door for them, which I say, open sesame. I want it out there in the open. I want the world to see who these people are, as clear as day. It won't turn out well for these people. They haven't learned anything since Charlie Kirk. So have at it. Keep up the rhetorics, boys and girls.
The Pentagon in senior positions, I was privileged to work among a group of people who signed up to defend their country, who when they showed up at the Pentagon were at the top point of their career after being colonels in military bases around the country, working with people and families. And they showed up and they called themselves purple suiters, not because of red or blue, because they didn't even say or acknowledge that their affiliation to their home institution, the Navy versus the Army, they said that the spirit of defending America mattered more. One of the best principles we have had that have made America successful compared to countries in the developing world, to other autocracies, is the fact that we have had civilian oversight over the military, but also respect for the military chain of command. So the idea of simply coming in and getting rid of a bunch of people in senior positions who have worked their entire careers under Republicans and Democrats both, and saying that because you served under the person you were told to serve under, we no longer trust you. At a time when we have record low recruitment, yes, the Secretary of War is focusing on all of the wrong challenges we have right now.
I do think that the military actually has had a long and proven system of promoting within their ranks based on expertise. And they've been doing that And the United States has still remained the strongest military in the world. And this idea that you sort of just cut people off at the top and replace them with people who haven't really, gotten their stripes, I don't understand how that makes us safer as a country or more prepared.
Look, elections have consequences. It's well within the province of Secretary Hegseth to make these decisions as to who's going to be at the top and the leaders in our
But
military.
that can't be the answer.
Understood.
The answer to everything can't be that it's okay that they did it because they can.
Because they're allowed to do it.
Whether it's the right policy decision or not is going to remain to be seen.
But I mean, that's what I'm asking you, is whether it's the right policy decision.
I don't know.
I do think that
I'm
the
not gonna
idea that
sit
just
here
because he can do it doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. And
But you don't know the philosophies of the people that are at the top. You don't know the philosophies of the people that he's putting in there.
You have spent
don't
your
understand.
entire life in the military.
You're just criticizing to criticize.
And you're working under the person who is appointed, not by you, but appointed by a political figure as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. And because you happen to work under that person, your career gets ended. I mean, again, how is that a merit-based decision? Is that not
what I just heard Abby say was not criticism. She was introducing facts, something that you all seem to be allergic to.
No.
You just
Here's
said it's
Tiffany.
okay to just murder people. If we
Yes,
think
I want
they
to
have
murder people who
drugs.
want to murder us.
Yes,
Absolutely.
that is ridiculous.
But
That is
Tiffany,
absolutely
if they've been
ridiculous.
deemed a terrorist organization,
Who has been deemed a terrorist
Credible
organization?
intelligence.
Credible
from Democrats and
intelligence
Republicans
and
who
by-
are staff members of the
No,
Pentagon.
that is not true.
Listen,
not for all these killings
I'm
that we've
sorry.
seen in the Caribbean. And we are seeing in every book that you see of Rise of Autocracy, and every documentary you see about it, this is exactly how it happens.
every
We have a private-
documentary we're
Yes,
using that as evidence,
documentary and
not
books
not
that
the
I've
intelligence
read.
not the intelligence that we're getting from the
but
intelligence
also
community.
has not been shared with anybody.
This is how
Well, it's starting to be
autocracies
shared for
rise.
this
But hold on,
And we
let me
have
just-
millionaires and billionaires donating $130 million to the military over this shutdown. That is how you turn militaries into mercenaries. And you see the Secretary of Defense firing people because of their political loyalties. They think that their job is to live in service to the president, Donald Trump, and not in service to America.
Or is
And
it
you all are
leadership
echo
philosophies?
chambers.
I think that remains to be
So
seen.
now I hope this clip
All right.
ages well, and you can look back at it, and you can look back at it, and look yourselves in the mirror and be okay.
All right,
that you
we're gonna
supported the rise of
leave
tyranny
it
in
there
this
for
country.
just out of time.
Tiffany is exactly right. And these idiots, they will defend anything, no matter what, no matter how egregious it is. But they're purposely in the military trying to squeeze people out, trying to make people feel unwanted. Women, black people, brown people. It's just so obvious. And this thing about punishing people that worked under Milley or... Guys, these people fired, or I forgot if they demoted or fired people who worked under Merrick Garland in the January 6th case. They were forced to work on it. This is their job. They were given a case. They had to work on the case. Like, it's just unbelievable. This is the peace president, right? The no wars president. These people are dying to ramp things up. Dying for something to happen. Some type of escalation. I think it's inevitable at this point that the military is going to go to Venezuela. I think Venezuela knows that the U.S. wants Venezuela to respond, so that they have some type of justification to go in there. And it's likely, right? I would say the majority of it is probably those minerals, right? I think it was lithium ion. I forget exactly what mineral it is, but that's probably it, right? I don't think they would be doing a regime change if it wasn't for that. I don't know. And think about it, guys. This is happening in a time that we're in the brink of a recession. Economic disaster is almost certain, and I hate to say it that way. Unless things turn around, job losses are mounting. Even though the data has stopped being released, there's been reports, private reports, because of these shutdowns, right? We're not having these job data. But inflation is ticking up. And now these idiots are about to spend who knows how much money on another effing war, if it gets to that point. At a country, guys, and their claim is at a country where fentanyl accounts for 4 out of 5 drug deaths in the U.S. is not even located there. 4 out of 5 drug deaths in the U.S. is not from, it's only from fentanyl, and it's not coming from Venezuela. It's coming from China to Mexico to the U.S. Like, these people are so insane. But hey, guys, at least we got a new ballroom. At least we got a new ballroom at the White House being built. That's good, right? That's something we can all benefit from. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Please leave a like, subscribe. Really helps the channel, really helps spread the message out there. And I'll catch you in the next one.